Doctor, this is student Muhammad Hazem, group 151, and I'll be describing the frontal bone. The frontal bone is an organ of the skeletal system. It's a paired bone. It's a paired bone, of course, and it's located in the head part of the body. It's participating in the formation of the skull cap. Also it is. It protects the temporal lobe of the brain. I'm sorry, protects the temporal lobe of the brain. Then that's with the definition. Let's return to the parts. We have 4 parts for the temporal bone. We have the tympanic part, we have the petrous or pyramids part. I think that's its name in Latin because it's tetrahedral in shape. And we have the mastoid part, and the squama. I think also the zygomatic process and the mandibular fossa. I think the zygomatic process is an extension of the squama part, which is the flat part of the frontal bone. Of course, it's convex from the outside and concave from the internal side. Then, for example, let's talk about the bone surrounding it. We have the occipital, we have the parietal, we have the sphenoid bones. For now, let's start for the anatomical formations. Of course, it's going to be get complicated when we start talking about anatomical formations for nerves, because we have to bring up the canals or the channels in the temporal bone, which are a lot. And also the temporal bone is very complicated bone. It's complicated in shape. Then for example, the condylar process of the mandibula, of course, articulates with the condylar fossa, forming a joint here. I think his name is temporal mandibular temporomandibular joint. It's very difficult to pronounce it. I don't know why. Then we have the zygomatic process, articulate with the zygomatic bone. Then for the anatomical formations with the muscles, this and back to the ground, we have, for example, the mastoid process and the styloid process. They both are for connections with muscles and so on. Then let's start for example, the connection with arteries. And the internal side of the squama, there is of course arterial grooves where arteries pass through them. Then return back to the canals. We have, for example, the carotid canal for passage of internal carotid artery. And then we have the musculotubal canal. Musculotubal canal, of course, it's divided by a septum. It's divided by a septum into 2 canals, into the tensor tympani, and the below the canal below it is for the auditory tube. And then we have also the third main canal of the canals. We have the facial canal, where the facial nerves pass. I think it starts at the internal acoustic muse and ends in the stylomastoid foramen. As you see, it's here where the part of the facial nerve pass through it. This is the canal, and of course we have then caniculus, which are like smaller canals. One for the caniculus for chorda tympani. It's like a part of the facial nerve, like a smaller part of it. Then This is the three main canals we have. You told the three main canals. One canaliculus. We have the tympanic canaliculus for the passage of tympanic nerve. Then we have talked about the canals. For conclusion, I've described the temporal bone according to its definition, according to its topography, according to its structure. It's an aerial bone, and its main parts consist of 4 parts. Its anatomical formations, for example, connections with other bones, forming other joints, also with other arteries, other muscles, other nerves, which is the main, which is the canal, for example. Then, as an extra, I have here an X-ray for. I don't think it's an X-ray, but I think it's some kind of scan of a cross section of the brain. I don't know why the foramen magnum doesn't appear. Maybe because there is a vertebrae underneath it, so the rays reflected back into the machine and didn't pass the whole way through. Of course, here is the complicated part of the nasal cavity. A lot of air cells here, I think. Then let's, for example, talk about the development of such one. I want to talk about the musculotubular canal. For exact, I want to talk about the auditory tube. I think this tube opens into the nasal cavity, so maybe when we have cold or germs are accumulating in the nasal cavity, I think they can climb up the opening in the nasal cavity into the ear, and germs accumulate here, and we think we have heavy ear when we are cold, for example. In younger age, I think this tube is more horizontal and shorter, so the chance of germs getting up to this canal and accumulating here is higher. So that, I think, is development comparing to the young age and the adults. Okay, thank you, doctor. I'm sorry. Have a nice day.